From the News Channel 5 Network, this is OpenLine.
All right, hi everybody. Rhori Johnston here in the chair for OpenLine on a Thursday night. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. We appreciate it here on News Channel 5 Plus. And really interesting topic and an important one to talk about tonight. When you think about Nashville, you think about tourism, and you think about the hospitality industry. It is a huge part of our local economy, and it's growing. I mean, hotels, bars, restaurants, everything's popping, and they are hiring. I used to work in the business, and a lot of you out there may currently be working in the hospitality industry on some level or may have in the past, because you know, it is a great way to earn money, and there's so many benefits from it. But there are also some downsides. That's what we want to talk about tonight, because there are, at last check, well, we'll talk about it with our guest. We'll go over some of our statistics with our guest tonight. We want to welcome Jamie Pruett. He is the co-chair of a local nonprofit called Ben's Friends. Thank you, sir, for being here. We appreciate it. Tell me a little bit about Ben's Friends, and I'll just give folks, obviously you'll see the topic there on the bottom of your screen. We're talking about the problem of addiction within the hospitality industry, and it is very prevalent. It is a problem, and groups like Ben's Friends are working to help these people, right?
Absolutely. So Ben's Friends started in 2016 in Charleston, South Carolina.
Right.
Two restaurateurs lost a very talented chef and dear friend to substance abuse and addiction issues.
Right.
And the devastation of that loss really shook them and helped to kind of get them moving towards addressing this issue in our industry, and realizing just how prolific substance abuse and addiction issues are in the hospitality industry. And in a moment of this has to stop, we've got to do something about this, Ben's Friends was born.
I just want to read a little bit of my research and what Ben's Friends has on their website, by the way. A national chapter, you are a chapter of the national group, I should say.
That's right.
Just talking about alcohol abuse alone, and there's a lot more, there's substance abuse as well within the hospitality industry. People who work in the hospitality industry, and we're talking everyone, not just in restaurants, maids, custodians, waitstaff, bartenders, cooks, counter workers. It is a stressful job, especially now, which we're going to get into post-pandemic, where there is a shortage of workers. Hopefully all of you try to be as patient as possible, as I do, and as generous as possible when you see that your server has, you know, double the tables trying to cover. You know, just kind of be patient and wait. But why do you think this segment of the workforce is particularly susceptible to alcohol and substance abuse? Because it's readily available. Alcohol, first of all, right?
Exactly. It's definitely an availability situation. I mean, most restaurants have bars in them. The availability is a big part of it, but beyond that too, I love that you really touched on how stressful the environment can be. I mean, it is, just wide open, nonstop. And
on your feet. On your feet,
hustling, and the thing is, most of us, what I like to say about those of us in hospitality is we work when everyone else is playing. Mm-hmm. Like, we are the place that people come to play.
After work.
Exactly.
To play, right.
And with that comes an odd schedule, working at odd hours. Most of us are wrapping our nights hours after the rest of society has gone to bed and is fast asleep. And at those late hours, what is there to do to blow off steam or to socialize when that's possible? Let's meet at the one place that's open until 3 or 4 a.m. and knock back a few, or go to someone's house and get hammered and celebrate how hard we roll. That's a part of it as well.
You mentioned that, because I work a second shift, working the 10 o'clock news, getting out pretty much every night at about 10:35 when the shift is over, hopefully not later than that, but 10:35. And, occasionally if I meet someone for a drink after work or a bite to eat, I know a few places that are going to be open that late during the week, and almost always I see a group of restaurant workers who have just clocked out, and now they're there, just like you mentioned. They have their watering hole where they are relaxing, and a lot of them are young, and they can drink. they can put them back for sure. As you know, I mentioned I was in the business years ago, and when I really think about it, it's like, yeah, we drank a lot. We did after shift. I mean, it was so stressful and tense, and you know, you're trying to provide a really high level of service because you're getting tips for your service, and you want to do the best job. So you are just going and going, and the pressure builds. So a lot of places, workers turn to alcohol or substances.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not something that we should blame them for. It's just so readily available.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, and like you said, it's either a drink to wind down and come down from the high energy shift, or could be a bump, you know, some sort of illicit substance to get through a shift. If you're working a double, you go into a restaurant or, you know, establishment, you're starting your day at 7 a.m., hit the ground running, take a maybe 2 to 3 hour break in the middle of the day, and then you're back at it until 10, 11, midnight. You know,
the long day.
Absolutely.
So I think if my statistics are correct, and you know, pre-pandemic, post, but generally the number of hospitality workers, at least right in the Davidson County area, I mean, we're at about 100,000, maybe more. I mean, obviously we know it's a lot of people. Tell me about some of the statistics. I mean, I read, you know, here's one from George Washington University Medical Center. This was just in 2008, so it's a little older. 15% of employees in the hospitality industry, they think, suffer from serious alcohol-related problems, which is so much higher than other segments.
Absolutely. I mean, I was reviewing the same information, and in the hospitality industry alone, as of 2015, the percentage is 17%, and that's who have been diagnosed. These are people who are willing to say, yeah, this is something I battle. This is something I struggle with.
And we'll get into this too. There's a lot of reasons why people don't want to, you know, obviously there's shame involved, but they're worried about job security.
Absolutely.
If they step forward and say something, hey, I need some help.
Right.
Do you know if, and we're going to get into Ben's friends in more detail for sure, folks, and give you the contact information, and I hope if you're out there and you need help that you will reach out to this group or to whoever, you know, to get some help. But a lot of these are big companies, big chains, hotel chains, restaurant chains. Do they offer, I mean, in some of them with their maybe health benefits or other benefits, any kind of help, assistance, recovery, and are they doing enough? I know there's been some criticism with the National Restaurant Association about, you know, addressing this issue.
I do think that the conversation has begun to shift, especially in light of the pandemic. I'm seeing more and more restaurant groups and hotel companies really step up and offer as part of their benefits packages, you know, therapy sessions, connection to treatment and to recovery communities and things like that. It's been really heartening to see this conversation come out into the open more, and to see the response that has come from the communities around us of like, yeah, this is something we need to talk about and be aware of. And it's really heartening, but I'm definitely of the belief that there's always more that can be done.
Yeah, and this is, you know, back when I worked in the industry, and I'm sure it still happens a lot today, is something called the shift drink, or when you get off, you know, as a little perk, go ahead, the bartender will fix you a drink or give you a beer as part of, you know, just on the house. It's so readily available, not meaning to encourage abuse. It's meant as a perk, but when it's, you know, kind of a given, you can get a free drink that maybe will lead to another and another. It's easy to go down that road.
Oh, absolutely. It's such an easy road to go down. And one of the things that I do love so much about my industry and being in hospitality and in food service is there is a sense of camaraderie, really unlike any other line of work I've ever experienced. They're just where it really nothing matters but let's get together and get this job done. And that sense of camaraderie extends to that post-shift socializing, and that can lead to like, okay, well, we're doing this now, where do we go from here?
Exactly.
Like, it's time to close the restaurant down, but I'm not done yet. Where can I go to keep the party rolling?
And then the next day you're hungover or you're tired, and you need a little more to keep you going for the day, and it really can become a vicious cycle. So
Absolutely.
we'd love to hear from you folks. So I know we've got at least one caller on hold. We're going to get to you. We're going to take a quick break, talk some more with Jamie, and 737+ is the phone number to call. Chime in on this important topic, and we're going to learn more about this group after this.